This Nature.com custom webcast titled Beyond Protein Identification, Redefining Versatility for Quantitative Proteomics Applications. My name is Sarah Hiddleston and I will be your moderator. Today's webcast is sponsored by Thermo Scientific. We'll begin the webcast with a presentation from Dr. Hatera Motamed Chaboki, Marketing Specialist, Proteomics, at Thermo Fisher Scientific, San Jose. We'll then move on to a question and answer session. You can ask a question
and small molecule applications to 6,000 mOV and options to factory upgrade to 800 mOV range for intact analysis. With Quad 0.4, it has a resolution of the 240,000 at Z of the accuracy of the plus minus 3 ppm with external calibration and with building Thermo Easy IC internal calibration source. It's an easy to use method template majority of the proteomics. This instrument is on next generation PNG operating software platform similar to Scientific Orbitrap and quadruple mass spectrometry. The beauty of these PNG high resolution is ability to discovery and targets on same uniform platform and user interface with ease of use and method transferability across three family of mass spectrometers. This versatile instrument supports all proteomics applications, including protein identification, quantitative proteomics, intact protein analysis, and translational research. We start with protein identification and applications. To evaluate robustness and versatility of this new mass spectrometer, we compare the instrument based on protein identification performance analysis of 1 microgram of scientific Pierce HeLa protein digester with 1 hour method on easy on 4 different Orbitrap Explorers 2 masses across 3 different sites. The analysis was performed by 4 different users with different level of expertise. Data has shown a great level of instrument-to-instrument data ability with CV 0.5%, 5,000 protein identification, and a 6%, 50,000 peptide group identification. This actually was the level of performance we were aiming actually for the large-scale proteomics that needs to be analyzed on different instruments across different laboratories. These new generation mass spectrometers come with templates covering a variety of proteomics work for routine and advanced proteomics analysis. With protein identification from gel spots, we have optimized a 15 and a 10 method for fast protein identification on a spray column. We have tested these methods analyzing 6 protein mix, and both 15 and 30 minutes methods great protein coverage, with only 150 femto mix sample. This method has a throughput of the 96 gel spot identification day. But many proteomics applications need longer liquid chromatography separation than 30 gradient when analyzing complex samples with wide dynamic ranges. This is where we have seen a great benefit using the new Thermo Scientific waveform ion mass spectrometry, the Pro interface, that offers a level of separation on ion charge Z shapes and conformations of ions. On right, you see how with certain phase compensation voltage, we improve and remove background ions and enrich +2 and +3 charge peptide. Extremely important when analyzing single cell or single sample with post-phase separation and MS mapping and accumulation option offered in these high-resolution Orbitrap mass spectrometry and maintaining sensitivity for such low input samples. Here, you see the improvement in unique coverage in a CMS analysis. Maintain the same level of improvement in peptide level, a 2 explanation is required. Provide over 25% improvement in protein coverage in a single genomic sample analysis. Is how peptides are gas phase fraction with lower phase compensation voltage enriching more of the +3 charge peptide overlap using global exclusion option using these methods. Methods start with the phase peptide separation using a multi-scan with a CV full MS scan followed by multiple MS2 scan based on either using a top N or a top speed method. By the next CV separator scan followed by MS2 scan. And if you need further phase separation in single injection sample analysis, you will need a longer gradient to get the good number of the MS2 point across chromatographic peptide peaks. On average, addition of the 1 hour gradient for extra phase fractionation is needed. But we have seen great protein coverage Ames method is 30-minute LC gradient analysis. With FAMES, optimize a 30-20 label-free quantitation method as a method template provided on these mass spectrometers with 6,300 protein group and 52,000 peptide group identification method from only 200 nanogram of the HeLa protein digest standard. You see on right, less than 10% overlap between the fractionation with great retention time and reproducibility on left across replicate analysis. We next focused on providing optimized methods for quick immunoprecision IP/QC protein interaction analysis. Evaluated performance of these methods with pathway protein enrichment kit from peers in an A549 long lines with 15 and 30-minute method. With 15 and a 30 method, we are able to identify all IP-enriched proteins, and with the 30-minute method, we saw improvement in coverage of precipitated proteins and existing proteins. With a simple string analysis of the protein identified we could identify interesting proteins from related pathways, including cancer metabolism and traction. Now, we can analyze these 30-minute methods instead of the typical 2 hours method in purification of the from IPM reads. This alone has improved the IPM analysis throughput by 4 times. We then evaluated protein quantitative performance instrument with variety of different approaches like label-free quantitation with either data-dependent acquisition or data-independent strategy. Stack approach, even targeted quantitation like parallel reaction monitoring methods. Data-dependent acquisition method optimized for label-free quantitation, we were able to achieve peptide and protein coverage from 10,000 nanogram of the protein digest standard with a 2 CV looping single injection 90-minute LCMS method. 6,000 protein groups and 50,000 peptide groups were identified only from 200 nanogram protein digest standard in 90 minutes, and 700 protein groups and 63,000 identified with 1 gram of the HeLa digest standard. Just to note that all identifications shown here are MS2-based identification with the rate of quantified protein per hour. You see on the left, with feature mapping option, scientific protein software increase identification rate. But to me, this MS2 level identification are pretty impressive. But you will have option to use either approaches for data analysis. The non-supervised clustering analysis of 10 to 1,000 nanogram data to 10 ratio showed a great correlation of 0.99 with a ratio of 0.9 higher sample column, but still pretty good correlation for a wide. In the middle, data correctly clustered together. And on right, you see great quantitation accuracy achieved for a wide range of rates. Evaluated the instrument LFQ performance with the complex of the human protein digest standard as a background and a yeast protein increasing in a 1:2, 1:4 ratio. In the middle, you see reproducibility across replication analysis and accuracy achieved and shown on right. We also have optimized a DIA method template as many of customers were asking for, and typically when our customers ask for our try to deliver a good solution for. The optimization is based on Dr. recent Nature Communication paper uses the predicted in silico in combination with chromatographic spectral library without any need of retention time peptide traces like we use IRT peptides. Method consists of spectral library run on a explanation with chromatographic spectral library followed by each sample with replicate analysis. We have evaluated this method with the HeLa E. coli, the yeast mix proteome. The HeLa E. coli data is with the spectral library 111,000 peptide and 11,000 proteins. We have great protein coverage with 80% data across with 18 and 96% peptides match a spectral library with covering almost 7 order of range and over 9 proteins across all runs. We next evaluated this DIA LFQ method performance with human mixed proteome study. The HeLa protein digest standard proteome by protein increase in 1:2, 1:4, and concentrations. In mid-C, great quantitation accuracy achieved at sample load analyzed with a 90-minute method, and on right you see quantitation performance with a half of the sample at 500 nanograms. For AT and 2T mass spectrometers come with full support for multiplex sample analysis, MT11plex or MT Pro 6 sample multiplex quantitation strategy. With optimized MS method as well as the pre-discover software workflow provided on these platforms. Taking advantage of FAME's Pro interface selectivity, narrow isolation width, and fit filter on these instruments, we have achieved a great average interference-free index, analyzing only 500 nanogram of the Thermo Scientific Peers TMT11 digest 20 minutes with 2 sequence method without any compromise peptide and protein coverage. Interference-free index is analyzed by Dr. Gigi's TV2. The data here shows the effect of the further FAME CV fractionation using 1 microsample load with little peptide between FAME CV fraction. At 2, 3, and 4 hours, multi templates are offered with further improvement in coverage with additional CV fractionation in single analysis. The data here shows the optimized ProPlex method performance, where 94% of all precursor data were interference-free, with great peptide protein coverage just using a nanogram of the sample, a 2-hour gradient. This is a great method optimized for LC fraction and could be further analyzed in higher throughput with a 90-minute LC gradient method. We evaluated the peptide assay on Orbitrap 240 mass spectrometer using parallel reaction markers. This would be the method designed for larger scale targeted discovery and precise quantitation using aqua level heavy labeled internal standard peptide used for quantitation. It can sample preparation or enrichment method to accommodate different number of targets, follow peptide precursor detection with high resolution all fragments of targeted peptide used for quantification and identification of the endogenous target peptide with peptide internal standard used. We have used Thermo Scientific SureQuant AKTM-TAR kit. AKTM-TAR crucial to many aspects of survival to play a great role. We have 30 heavy and peptide and spiked it in standard matrix with heavy peptide constant at the 20 femtomole level and the light peptide from 7.8 attomole to 100 femtomole. That's gradient method optimized 30 centimeter column. Optimized method, we were able to detect all peptides at with 80% of all less than 10% whole and a CV of 4% for at their LLOQ. And achieving accurate quantification across 5 orders of damage. The benefit and with longer injection time of 116 millisecond, we were able to extend the peptide LLOQ to low attomole sensitivity with linear quantitation of close to of 1% at peptide LQ. Next application supported Trap Explorer's 240 mass spectrometer is intact protein analysis. we have achieved a great and linear quantitation accuracy and intercepting with only 15 nanogram on column using this system. If interested in this application, our upcoming webinar focusing mainly on intact protein application and analysis. In next section, we go over translational application using plasma protein new Orbitrap Explorers 240 mass spectrometer. Mass spectrometry-based technologies have shown a great supporting translational studies as by comparing protein profile of the human sample, we hope to turn protein signature to certain health condition to an actionable biomarker. However, the bottleneck to MS-based approaches are throughput of as well as concern about analytical variabilities. Continue to collect and curate precious human sample in biobanks. We have to balance between the analysis and sensitivity of biomarker to achieve the ultimate goal of biomarkers to be used in clinics. Therefore, the ideal solution for large human cohorts will need to be high throughput, robust, and with proper QC procedures to minimize analytical variability without any compromise. We have introducing a new ultra-high throughput plasma profiling platform, UHT-PPP, on our new Orbitrap Explorer 200 spectrometers. The new workflow using an automated sample 90-well plate format and the EvoT high throughput LC method provided coupled to Orbitrap 240 mass spectrometer with the reduced sample preparation and increased reproducibility of the MS-based analysis for population studies. Our vision of throughput was to support large scale. Most of the time when we talk throughput, this is only on LC gradients. But the true definition of flow throughput needs to consider analysis time from the sample to data. The question is how many people we can process CMS and how is the sample start on the left to finish with a different throughput on the right. Longer analytical more QA/QC run to monitor all. We have paid a special attention to robustness and reproducibility of our new Orbitrap Explorers 240 mass spectrum to deliver for translation with the throughputs mentioned. We shown that we could reliably identify and quantify in 4 different instruments across 3 suitability. Here, using a PRTC peptide, a spike in plasma digest, we have observed mass accuracy with external calculations of analysis, and peptide was consistent with less than 6% shift over 100 sample injection. We next use a depleted pool serum performance of the system and the UHT-PPP workflow. We first use a peptide recovery efficiency consistency for on left using Thermo Scientific 96-well plate kit and automated preparation on Hamilton robotic handling system. Recovery efficiency from well and plate were determined, and close to 100% of all peptides were recovered across 4 96-well plates. Approximately 24 serum sample were with less than 10% CV plate stability was added. With this workflow, we can pull in 4 hours. We then loaded 200 nanogram on EvoT analyze each sample using a 21-minute gradient for a 60 sample per day throughput, and on average, serum proteins and 4 tested and quantified over 150 injections over days. We in both protein peptide IDs in 5 days of analysis with 50% skew were achieved, covering order of magnitude dynamics. Evaluate label-free quantitation. We perform peer analysis of injection of the pooled serum based on LFQ data, exceptional correlation between 100 replicates. We also looked into the effect of the gradient load in order to maximize identification on EvoSAP and LC system. We also feature mapping algorithm in Protein Discoverer software we could identify close to 500 serum proteins by loading only 200 nanogram of serum in 44 minutes. Over 500 proteins in 44 gradient with 500 nanogram load. More than 70% of the protein were quantified than 20% CV plus 150 injection, which supports feasibility of delivering quantification reproducibly for larger scale plasma studies with these. Overall, we believe that workflow on Orbitrap's 240 mass spectrometer can deliver distance sensitivity, versatility required for translational research, and with optimized methods for serum and plasma profiling, you can generate high data with precise mass measurement in these precious human sample for large estimation studies. The system, as you see, comes with optimized templates for different proteomics applications, software data analysis templates. That, I hope our data has new instruments, wide variety of the proteomics application, reproducibility and versatility to course and multidisciplinary proteomics lab. With that, I would like to thank my exceptional colleagues San Jose site for their remarkable effort to launch these new products and generating the content I'm presenting today. Thank you all for a presentation, and with that, I'm ready to answer your question, and reach me by email if you have any further questions regarding these new instruments or data presented here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katera, for that presentation. It is now time for the question and answer session. Ask Katera a question. Please type it in where it says type your questions here, and then press submit. Our first question. Are there other differences, Katera, except for the resolution between the different versions of the Explorer?
There are some differences. Example, FAMES Pro interface is only supported on 480 MS. The atmospheric interface on the Orbitrap Explorer 480 is an CI and I versus on Orbitrap Explorer 240 and 120 MS is a round bore transfer tube, and the MS scan rate of the Orbitrap Explorer 480 MS is 40 Hertz versus the 40 and are 22 Hertz. The mass ranges are different. On Orbitrap Explorer 120, the is 4,000, whereas on the Orbitrap Explorer 240 and 480 is 2,000 MOVZ with the factory expansion to 8,000 MOVZ for the intact. The quality Switching is only available on Orbitrap Explorers 240 and 480, and Orbitrap Explorers 120 MS only support a small molecule application, whereas the Orbitrap Explorers 480 and 240 supports peptide application. There are some hardware differences, like enhanced turbo Explorer and 240 as well.
Great, thank you very much. Our next question. Explorers 40 feature turbo TMT?
No, the turbo TMT is available on the 480 MS.
Okay, thank you very much for clarifying that. The next two questions, I'm going to take them together. Should be used for 16-plex TMT, and can 120 be used for 16-plex TMT?
The answer to that, the Explorer 480 and 240 MS supports the TMT 16. One is not proteomics application, is only for a small molecule, hence it doesn't support the TMT Pro or 16-plex.
Okay, thank you very much. Our next question. What software have you used here?
We have this Diagnosis Astronaut a version was recently released. And we also use the online process and encyclopedia software for spectral library generation and merging.
Thank you. A quick reminder to our live audience, you still have time to ask a question. To do so, type your question and then press submit. Our next question, where do you get the HeLa digest?
From Thermo Fisher Pierce, a colleague. If you can buy it through Fisher web.
Great, okay, very much. Top-down proteomics on this map.
And using the HCD fragmentation and the Proteome Discoverer software, we can actually do protein identification, label top-down data. And if you're interested in this application, you can check my colleague ASMS Reboot poster, UP020, which is focused on quantitative top-down proteomics of the human tears, which reveals proteoform changes related to. Which is a really cool poster to check.
Thank you very much. What else is being used for intact protein separation?
That work was done on Thermo Scientific MapPack SEC 1 is a 5 micron
Okay, thank you very much. A further question. For TMT, how do you evaluate interference, co-isolation, and contamination?
We use Dr. Gigi's online TVT tool. And then also in TD, you can look at the precursor with the filter. You can precursor that has interference in them and use those for quantitation.
Thank you. A quick reminder to our live audience, you still have time to ask a question. Please type it in, questions here, and then press submit. Our next question. What and how many different standards for a typical method?
we actually done hundreds of the internal standards for this. For example, the at least 800 internal standards on this system. Like the PQ comes with 800 internal standard, and these have been evaluated on this system.
Thank you very much. Our next question. I am currently focused on proteomics applications, but will have metabolites and lipid species in the future. Can the Orbitrap Explorers 240 MS support these analyses?
Indeed, you can. The small molecule application mode, you'll find acquisition method template optimized for metabolomic and lipid as a good start.
Thank you very much. And that is where we need to finish for today. I'd like to thank Dr. Khatera Mohamed-Chabuki once again for her presentation and for answering your questions. I would also like to thank the webcast sponsor, Thermo Scientific, and of course you, the audience, for taking to be with us. If there are any questions that we didn't manage to get to, we will get back to you offline after this broadcast finishes. Remember, you can watch this webcast at any time on demand at nature.com/webcasts. And I hope you'll join us again soon.